State explained. Wyoming. Wyoming is the 44th state to join the Union, is the 10th largest, and the absolute least populated state in the US. Even including DC and Puerto Rico, it's still the least populated. It gets its name from the Lenape, or Delaware Native American group. It means either at the big river flat or at the big plain. It's also a place in Pennsylvania, where the actual Lenape, Delaware Native Americans lived. It's known as the Equality State for reasons we'll get into later. Capital is Cheyenne, spelled kind of wrong. Largest city is Laramie, which is basically still in the same metro. Other notable cities include Cody and Casper. Wyoming is a square. Wyoming has one of the best state flags. Even if it needlessly has the state's coat of arms on it, it has a buffalo. An endangered and unique animal to North America. It's kind of like a super cow. And yes, you can make it into a burger. Wyoming has the largest part of Yellowstone National Park, the very first national park in the world. It's a very unique place. While there, you can also see Old Faithful, a term you probably heard in an old movie. Old Faithful is a geyser that has, since 2000, reliably done its thing every half an hour. There's also Devil's Tower, a giant butte in the middle of nowhere, which became the first national monument. Grand Teton National Park is something you've probably seen on a screensaver or a calendar before. Wyoming's landscape is basically nothing but flat plains forever and then just constant mountains in the background. Again, empty plains because, again, not a lot of people live here. Wyoming is so comedically underpopulated compared to the most populated state, California. Honestly, there's probably more small towns in the US that have a larger population than all of Wyoming. For instance, Beaufort, Wyoming was population 1, and he sold the town to move to be closer to his kids to a Vietnamese coffee guy. Wyoming produces 40% of the US's coal. Wyoming was the last state to increase the drinking age from 19 to 21 in 1988. A very small part of Wyoming territory was part of Mexico, another small part was part of the Oregon Territory, and the rest was in the Louisiana Purchase. Regionally, Wyoming's sort of in Great Plains and broadly western, so it has stereotypes of farmland and agriculture. But mostly, Wyoming's known for cowboys and ranchers. Politically, getting back to equality state, Wyoming was the very first place in the US, even before it was a state, to allow women to vote. It was the first one to have a female court, female justice of the peace, and even first governor that was female. But nowadays, Wyoming tends to be more conservative. Last time Wyoming voted liberally was in 1964. There's not been a president from Wyoming yet, but some famous people include, surprisingly, Jackson Pollock, the splatter painter you've probably seen in a fancy hotel before, the lovely Mildred Harris, and Nicholas Black Elk. A lot of movies tend to have people visit Wyoming, but movies specifically set in it include Did You Hear About the Morgans? Green Grass of Wyoming, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and Brokeback Mountain. But what do you guys think? You like visiting Wyoming? You live there. Did I leave anything interesting out? Let me know in the comments below.